Okay, so we're recording as my daughter's getting ice out of the ice machine in the kitchen, but here we are. So we wanted to kind of bring everybody together and share, because I'm getting tons of questions about what are Dave and Chantel doing and how is this even happening, and your shred group is so fun, and what does this look like? And guys, to be really honest, it's all happened so just organically, which is the best way and what gets me so excited to share with you tonight. So a little backstory. Dave and Chantel Henderson are my neighbors. I met them, there they are. I actually met them 4 years ago through our sons. Our children met in elementary school and became fast friends, and then we quickly started hanging out, and obviously the rest is history. So when I first introduced Juice Plus to actually Chantel, they were interested, they tried a little bit of the product, and actually Chantel and Terry and I sat down for a lovely lunch. I want you guys to hear this, because this is the process sometimes that you go through with people. And she was not interested. In fact, she had heard about it years ago and was open to plant-based and understood health and food. But as far as entertaining this product for her family or for even this business, it was a very hard no. And that's okay, right? Because we're still friends. It's no big deal. And we left it like that. And they just continued to watch me. Well, it wasn't until this summer that a mutual friend of ours talked about working out and asked me where I worked out. And Dave and Chantel quickly jumped in and said, well, we need to start working out as well. We want to be better. And I said, great, come work out with me. Which then led to the conversation of, okay, I need to make.
Never showed up, just to.
Oh yeah, that friend never showed up, right. So that friend was gonna work out with me. He had invited Dave, and Dave showed up and Chantel, but the friend did not. And so we worked out, we were working out and still friends. And then it led to a conversation of wanting to join potentially another group Dave and Chantel were talking about to work more on nutrition. And I said, well, have you ever heard of our shred program? We actually have a program that might make sense to you. Which then led Dave to go, I love programs. Yes, I love programs. And you know what, guys? I'll be honest, I didn't really love programs. And so I was hesitant to share. And I was hesitant to share with clearly a lot of people. But what I've learned is that people do love a program. Jamie, I know you're shaking your head because she's told me this for years. And I just never really probably listened until Dave and Chantel jumped on board. And I'll let them tell you a little bit about their story, but where the turning point was after the 10 days, I anxiously and was sweating and was so nervous to ask them if they would go have coffee with Jamie and I. You guys, I was so nervous because I didn't want them to think that I was pushing them into more. Not only are they spending money working out now with me, now they're joining the shred, right, and spending more money, and now I'm going to ask them to join and start a business, and they both work. I mean, I was like, they're for sure going to think I'm crazy. Well, here we are, okay? And he might, well, he kind of probably still does think I'm a little crazy, but that's okay. So here we are, and so we're here, so he's going to share most of the rest of this information. They're going to share their story and kind of where we're going with this. But you guys, he has completely inspired me, and then Chantel, just the balance that they have with each other have completely encouraged me to think about my business a different way with the shred program. And that's basically, you've been in the business, Dave and Chantel, for what, 30 days now? It was at the end of September, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's been 30 days. They got to their 2,000 plus in 5 days, and they have officially qualified their business this month. And they, as of this morning, we're at 15 customers, and as of tonight, you're now at 16, I think, right? you had texted me another neighbor had stopped by the house to drop off and just say hello and left as a customer.
And it was somebody that you had tried to sell to before.
Oh, of course, yes. See, that's how this works. All right. Well, I'll let you start with maybe a little bit more of your health journey, and then where your thoughts are with the shred, Dave and Chantel, if you don't mind sharing.
Yeah. So for me, hi everybody, I'm David. Nice to meet you. If you haven't been part of our shred stuff yet, you are missing out on a really, really great time. So I really highly encourage you to join up as well. For me, 5 years ago, I quit being a firefighter. So for 5 years before that, I was a firefighter, which means I was working out every day. I was ingesting every supplement I could find so that I could kind of get beefed up and things like that. What actually happened is I developed ulcerative colitis, which is a disease I already had. But now looking back on everything, the doctors were like, yeah, it's all those supplements that actually made that flare up. Well, for the next 5 years, on top of that, it was just a struggle. Okay, now what do I do? So I didn't work out anymore. At first, I had to get control of my health situation. I almost lost my entire large intestine, and it was a very huge health scare. Well, I didn't know anything but programs and supplements and things like that, and had just found out those were things that were basically killing me, and kind of gave up at that point on anything health related. I tried to work out and never could get back into it, things like that. So, and then I just got into the same spiral that I think most people get into that are my age. I'm 36, Chantel's 38. She just had a birthday.
Any chance you get.
And I think a lot of us get into this spiral of just I eat bad, and then I don't work out, and then maybe I try to exercise and eat right for a little bit, and then I fail at that, and then it just gets even worse, and then I start seeing my body image and just spiral down. Then the stuff that I'm eating is messing with my mental state as well, so depression and anxiety and all of this stuff all at once. And so had been looking for something for a while. It was really nice to get into something with Chantel. So it's God sent Jen into our lives and invited both of us to something that for the first time in our marriage, we've really been involved in something together, which was Camp Gladiator. And that's been revolutionary, I think, for both of us. And so then I was like, well, I sure wish I could supplement my nutrition somehow, but I already knew that was a road that had killed me previously, almost. And so anyway, we started looking in. Jen introduced us to Juice Plus and Shred. To be really honest with you, as a man, the way I respond to, hey, you and your family should eat fruits and vegetables, my ego will not allow it. As just the first line of defense. It's pride, it's ego. Oh, fruits and vegetables, that's really cute. And I'm just not gonna bring that into it. Like, I don't care. As a man, that's how I responded when she introduced it to us a while ago. But when she came and introduced, hey, we have a whole food solution, which comes in the form of shakes that you would, in essence, drink after your workout. It's a post-workout shake, which I had already been used to. Then I did more research, and it turns out that actually there's a lot of doctors who are recommending this to ulcerative colitis patients like myself because of the form that it's in and how your body can absorb it and everything like that. So we got really into it. And that's really for a man, and I don't know, maybe not all men would agree with this, but I think most would. That was the initial draw for me. And then to supplement that with, sorry to use the word supplement, that's not really what it is, but to add on the Juice Plus with that was a no-brainer to me, of course, fruits and vegetables. And now there's a program along with this. Okay, we'll cut out gluten, we'll cut out dairy, we'll cut out refined sugar, things like that. And that's not about weight loss. That's about actually finding things that are bothering me and that might cause flares. And for Chantel, she struggles with some health issues as well. And to cut those things out, it was fantastic for both of us. Well, now you have a pair of people who are working together on something, and that just makes all the results in the world, I think.
Yeah.
anyway, so that's kind of our story. Of course, and we fell in love with everything really, really quickly. It's funny that Jen said she was nervous about that meeting. We had already decided to do it before we sat down at Starbucks. So that's what was funny about all that.
Well, talk to us a little bit. I'm so grateful. But how do you get your shred customers? Like, how are you promoting and building? That's what people really want to know. Yep. And then about what you feel like the future for your shredders is going to look like.
So I actually prepared a slideshow for you guys, audio visual. I'm throwing it up there now. Let me know when you can see it and I'll get going.
I got it. We can see it.
Thumbs up from Terry. All right. So, so what we've in essence, the way I thought about this to begin with is the way that I've kind of created into a system, and I call it shred phases. And the way I approach every single person is that what this is a 4-month program. And the reason for the 4 months is just like the 4 months with Juice Plus, the life cycle of your red blood cell is 4 months. So at the end of 4 months, what do you want your red blood cells to look like? Because in 4 months, you're actually going to be a completely different person at the cellular level. And you can be a different person who has had cheeseburgers for a while and not done anything, or you can recreate yourself using whole foods and plants, and vegetables, and all this good stuff. So that's kind of why 4 months. And that's kind of everything that I just said in this slide. In 4 months, you're going to have a new set of nutrient carriers all in your body. And you'll actually be redefining yourself. So that's the first part of my approach. This is a 4-month program. A really big piece of the puzzle for us has been we participated in it and we saw a lot of success. So after about a month and a half of shredding, I lost about 20 pounds and I look completely different. Now I'm at the end of 2 months and everywhere I go, people are like, I hardly recognized you. What did you do? So I'm always gonna, I think, and with Juice Plus, it's the exact same story. You're gonna influence people by your healthy living. And so that's kind of the 4-month introduction, things like that. So these are the 4 phases that we divide everything into. So there's 4 months, and I call each of those months a different phase for each of our customers. So phase 1, we call discover, and each of these will start with a D. You'll kind of get the hint as we go. But here's shred phase 1, which is discover, and it's just the start of your journey. And in phase 1, the idea is don't set any goals except for a 100% shred. We don't want you trying to lose a certain amount of weight. We don't want you we don't want you to focus on anything else except for the 100% shred. And the reason behind that is you don't have enough information to set goals with yet. So goals can be a very, very dangerous idea because if I set a goal in 1 month that I want to lose 30 pounds, unless something miraculous or really unhealthy happens, that's probably not realistic. It could be for somebody, but maybe it is and maybe it's not. So the point of the first month of shred is do 100% shred, and through that discover kind of who you are inside of a healthy habit world, right? So for some people, they're discovering, I thought that caffeine would be my biggest struggle, and it wasn't. Caffeine actually wasn't a struggle at all for me. Bread was a huge struggle, and not eating past 6 o'clock was a huge, huge struggle. So those were discoveries for me. And now I know that. And now when I move into future shred phases and just the rest of my healthy life, I know that about myself. So I'm ready for the obstacles and the challenges. So I discover my habits. I discover my weaknesses and excuses. I discover my dependencies, right? So a lot of people who have shredded, and I know one specifically who's on the call right now, is super like, I don't care. I'm not giving up coffee. And what I do is I push my shredders really, really hard. You can do it for 10 days, give up the coffee. And part of the point of that is also discovering what in your life is controlling you versus what in your life is serving you. And so if there's something that you simply can't let go of for 10 days, you automatically have some answers to those questions. And then you're discovering inside of all of that, okay, what did you overcome? What were you capable of? Hey, for 10 days, you went without caffeine and it actually wasn't a big deal. What do you know? So it's not just discovering the bad stuff about yourself, but also what kind of support, what kind of resources do you respond to, things like that. So that's phase one. Phase two, we call develop. So in phase two, we're taking all of the stuff that we discovered in phase one, and we're actually going to set goals this time. So again, the number one goal is 100% shred, but we're going to add to that whatever goals we think are appropriate for ourselves. So personal goals. So maybe I want to lose 10 additional pounds this month, or maybe I want to participate in a 5K at the end of the month, or maybe I want to just be able to shred all month, whatever your personal goal is. And this is where you get to interact with your clients and really talk to them about what kind of goals you are setting and what that's based on in the past and things like that. What did you discover in phase one? And what kind of changes can you implement right now? And then making we really encourage people through this to make some really keen observations. How are you feeling? Because it's in the second month when at least Chantel and I both looked at each other and went, I feel amazing. I haven't had coffee for 2 months and I have like the jitters right now and it's like 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm ready to go. We were sleeping well. We had energy. Our attitude were better. People are starting to say things about the change in my physique and stuff like that. So phase two is this really positive month, but at the same time, you couple that with goals that you're trying to achieve at the same time.
And I think we would throw in too, by the time you get to phase two of this, you can look back and see what you've given up. So like
Right.
For us, we sleep through the night and it's been amazing. And David especially used to suffer from a lot of migraines in the middle of the night. So we would go through Advil like candy. It was kind of an alarming rate.
Yeah.
And
which by the way is like super destructive if you're an ulcerative colitis
Right.
patient.
And so all that has been gone.
Yeah.
And giving up the heartburn, he doesn't have to take heartburn medicine in the middle of the night. And it's just, so you kind of realize like, wow, it's been 2 months now and we haven't touched any of those pill bottles or anything. We haven't had a struggle with that.
And you start adding up. I mean, now we're not spending the money on Advil. We're not spending the money on heartburn pills.
Yeah.
We're not spending the money on, and all of a sudden we're looking around and going, spending less money on food. I'm spending less money on prescription medication. I'm spending less money on over the counter. We're actually saving money through all of this.
Yeah.
It's really fantastic. So that's kind of the phase two idea. Phase three, we call DARE. And this is when we start getting a little bit more serious about things. So the mentality kind of develops through all of this stuff. And I'll kind of talk about that in a little bit. But in phase three, we call it DARE, and we say it's time for an adventure. So in phase three, we are looking for finding an adventure, specifically some kind of an event that you are going to attend or be part of, or just one big, huge main goal just for you. So locally, in Shred Phase 3, we will, as kind of the Shred coaches, find an event that we're going to do. So our first Phase 3 is actually going to be in December this year. And Little Elm, which is where we live, is putting on a 5K. And it's like a Christmas character 5K, and you get to dress up as Christmas characters and things like that. And it's a run walk. So it doesn't matter if you can run the entire 5K or walk or whatever, but we're going to invite the entire Shred group to come out to that and be part of it. And just see what we can accomplish together and encourage one another and things like that. So, but the other part is like, okay, you're not in town or you're not up for a 5K or something like that. Okay, what's your adventure going to be? And for some people, it's like, let's shred all month long. For some people, it's like, hey, you've been miserable for a couple months. Why don't you apply for a new job? Or if you're super miserable all the time, have you ever heard of this thing called being a Juice Plus distributor? Let's sit down and talk. But something that moves your journey, your healthcare journey, your health journey outside of just eating and kind of not and exercising, things like that, into something that you're doing with your life. So just a development into that kind of phase. We call it DARE. And the idea here is you didn't get to phase 3 because it was easy. Now it's time to do something harder. So all of these represent kind of a level up. And notice this all has to do with just the way that you're thinking. Sometimes it's event-based like this one. Other than that, the shred is exactly the same as it's always been. And then shred phase 4 is drive, which is go out and inspire. And the drive phase is all about recognizing that at the end of this month, you are going to actually be a brand new person at the cellular level. All of your red blood cells have been completely reborn, and you have just been pumping into them the most healthy things you ever have in your entire life. When we get to this phase, you never set goals again. Because now it's not about reaching for a short-term goal. This is about living life as a new, healthy, and driven self. And now you're reflecting throughout this. This is a lot more philosophical of a phase where you're doing the shred and everything, but now you're reflecting on what are the things in my life that I can control? And what are the things in my life I can't control? Because clearly I can't control what number is going to appear on the scale, right? But I can control my healthy living style. And the number on the scale stops mattering at that point. This is about raising the bar for yourself, for your family, for the others around you. And this is about reaching out to other people, getting outside of yourself and helping others discover what you've discovered. And that might mean referring your friends and family to the person that introduced you to the shred for the first time. This might mean you're going to start introducing people as a distributor yourself. And I would imagine that by the end of 4 months of this, with the way that we feel and the energy and everything that comes with that, we're probably going to be fighting people off who want to become distributors, as opposed to kind of looking and trying to figure out who wants to do what and things like that. So for distributors out there who haven't been pushing Shred 10 or are kind of thinking about it or whatever, I want to push a few things at you. Number one, for $110 for 60 servings of shakes, you cannot find that pricing anywhere else. Go up to your local grocery store and take pictures of some price tags on stuff and divide it by the amount of servings. And this is cheaper than all of them, the most popular brands. Well, then go and compare how it's made, and you're going to find out that it's actually the highest quality meal replacement you can get. When you think about it that way and you approach people with Shred, they're begging you for it. They're like, I thought it was going to be way more expensive than this. Right. That's because everything else that you do that's a diet plan or something like that is a lot more expensive than this. And the big thing for me, that was a huge thing, is the first time we were approached with Juice Plus, personally, we were like, that's a lot of money for fruit pills. And I don't want to spend that money on that, right? This completely flips that upside down, where it goes, that is not a lot of money at all. Yes, give me that for 4 months. And then after the 4 months, you are going to have Juice Plus for life. And you come back to the Shred anytime you want. Well, then at the end of that 4 months, they are now saving $110 a month at least and spending a lot less while being alive. And so the money, all of a sudden, the money consideration flies out the window. And just kind of changes the story that way. Of course, the whole program is about self-change. It's not just about weight loss, but at the same time, you get to lose weight, and it's a really good challenge because it's only 10 days and you can do anything for 10 days.
People really like the phrase a kickstart. So people are really interested in, it's just a kickstart for 10 days, kickstart your health, kickstart this journey, just cut it out for 10 days. I've had a lot of people just really love that phrase because it's true. It's just, okay, like I know I'm in a slump. I know I want to change something, but it's like, how do I get going with it? What do I need to do?
Right. So now a really honest point here is we've developed these 4 phases, and it sounds really, really awesome. And we're super excited about it. We don't have anybody in phase 3 or 4 yet. These are just ideas. So this is a beta kind of idea right now. I will say this, the phase 1 and the phase 2 are going extremely well, and people are responding exactly kind of how we wanted them to. So I'll have to keep reporting back. But that said, if you're getting kind of excited about kind of these 4 phases, it would be really, really nice to get other people to brainstorm with us, help us manage, because now I'm setting up 4 different Facebook groups, one for each Shred phase, and we'll move people through those. I'll talk about that kind of on the next. So that's kind of the next question that would probably come up, is how do you manage 4 Shred phases and things like that? And really kind of you set yourself up more as a coach now. And when you have all of your clients, what I do is I tag all of my clients based on what shred phase they're in. So I have all of my clients inside of Google. I save them all in Gmail. You may save them in Teamsy or something like that. Teamsy has the ability to tag people as well. And when they're in shred phase 1, shred phase 2, they all get tagged this way. And then I create these email templates. So every month, the phase 1ers are going to get emails throughout the 10 days, actually before the 10 days, to prepare them for the shred, emails during the shred and emails after the shred, but they're all templates. And then during the shred, I'll be following up with people individually, but the groups will be getting all of the information they need and everything like that inside of those emails that they're tagged as. Then once they complete shred phase 1, I just go and move them into shred phase 2. No big deal. Same thing in the Facebook groups. There's one Facebook group for each phase, so that groups of people can be encouraging each other and things like that. Inside of Facebook, I'm also doing scheduling posts and then natural interactions the whole time as well. And the other thing to keep in mind is while you're managing shred people is, number one, they are going to get the Juice Plus, and that will be kind of on the automatic thing. For shakes, it is really, really difficult for clients to manage automatic monthly reorders of shakes because they come in 60 servings. And we're interrupting kind of the 60 thing by having 2 shakes a day for the first 10 and then 1 a day for the rest. So I have all of my clients on the automatic renewals for Juice Plus, but I order them one-time supplies for the shakes. The great thing about that is that gives me an excuse to reach out to them almost every single month, making sure they have enough, talking about how things are going, following up, and then just making another shake order anyway. So that's really nice. And then finally, last thing, coaching people through the 4 shred phases. Phase 1, you want to really, really emphasize a no excuses 10-day shred. You're going to have a lot of people who are like, it's my birthday and I don't care. Totally fine. And you don't have to guilt trip anybody through that or anything like that. But you do want to really emphasize, try to get through all 10 days, right? Just give it 10 days. At the same time, phase 1 is the most fun. Get in, have fun, commiserate with everybody. I say on here, you hate kale, tell everybody how much you hate kale, right? You're peeing every 5 seconds because you're drinking so much water. Tell everybody that, right? There is nothing that helps encourage and motivate people more in phase 1 than, yes, I also hate day 3 of the first phase. It's awful. But then as you move through the phases, you're going to get a little bit more and a little bit more serious and a little bit more focused, and they're going to follow right along with you because their healthcare journey is getting a little bit more focused and a little bit more serious all the time. Phase 2 is probably when you want to have the most personal touch with your clients that are shredding. The reason is because they have actually set goals, and goals can be super tricky. If they're not meeting their goals, they could be extremely demotivated, right? Unless you are on the phone with them telling, yeah, you're totally missing your goal. Let's talk about what we've learned. And maybe we repeat phase 2, or maybe we just jump into phase 3 and set a different goal this month. No big deal. And that's the other thing to keep in mind. Everybody can always repeat phases. No big deal, right? It's only better for you as a distributor anyway. So just be really in touch there. Phase 3, the most difficult thing is to find and set up a local event that everybody can participate in. Would love some more ideas from everybody on something that's really manageable. We could talk about that some other time. Phase 4, all about philosophy, getting rid of goals, reinventing yourself. And then finally, by this phase, your client should have either referred you customers or become a distributor themselves. And then there's phase infinity. And once you graduate from phase 4, we need to get those people all actively involved in some kind of a healthy living community online that they participate in for all time, just to stay in touch and things like that. And then encourage all of them. Anytime you need to go back through the phases, do it. We get it. Healthcare, living healthy and living well is something that may slip away from you time to time, and there's nothing to kickstart it quite like the shred. So that's everything that I had. And I'm going to stop my share. And if you guys have questions or whatever.
Well, yeah. First of all, thank you so much, because I've had so many questions from people, and I'm like, well, yeah, okay, yeah. So I'll have Chantel and Dave, and then that's why we finally did this. One thing I will say, you guys, from my experience from having these conversations with Dave and Chantel, working with them through their first shred, and then he is very funny. Like he said, there is a lot of, in phase one, a lot of laughter. It's probably one of the funniest groups I've ever been a part of. And so that is very encouraging to a lot of people. But more importantly, when I had a conversation with both of them about my own personal business and in promoting, I did ask him the question about, what are you saying? Like, I've been doing this for 5 years, and what are you saying? Because I love Juice Plus, right? And I can totally, we've changed so many things. And one thing that really stood out to me is, one, he said a lot of people want to feel included and want to be invited to something. There's a lot of people that don't attend church. He's very active in his church. That's a whole nother Zoom for a whole nother day. But they are very active. And he said, a lot of people, there's a high percentage of people that don't attend a church because they've never been invited. They've never been asked. They've never been included. And so people like to be invited. So I have been using those words. I just want you to know you're invited. I just want you to know that I want you to be included in this group. We have such a great time. Yes, it's challenging, but at the same time, we've got these amazing 4 phases that we're working out. And I too have been changing my business. After 5 years, have added more customers than I've had in a long time, thanks to the 2 of them and their encouraging words. And so to those of you out there that are distributors, and I love you guys, that are distributors and that are looking, it is a fast way to grow your business. From a compensation, with the new compensation plan coming out in January, the company is listening. They compensate us well for the work that we do, and it's just getting bigger and better. And when you look at the new compensation plan, it got me so excited, because what can happen in your business by adding shredders is just fantastic. The numbers just don't lie. The paychecks don't lie, you guys. And so for those of you out there, I have reached out to past customers and said, hey, you just need shakes to be a part of this next shred. You guys are going to want to do this, and they've added shakes. Or you have shakes and you just need the trio. Now's the time, and they've added it. So I tell you that because they have completely changed what I've been doing, and I've been in the business for years. But I will open it up, because we only have a few minutes left, to any questions that anybody might have that are on the call right now. I'm going to see in the chat. Please reach out. Yeah, we'll help in any way, and we'll have to brainstorm and have more of these conversations as we move through the phases, because we're going to learn, right, guys, along the way.
Well, and jump on the holiday train, because everyone is about to be like, oh, it's the new year, I got to lose some weight. I just ate my way through Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Right. Now's the time, for sure.
They're going to be begging for some kind of solution. And don't think that you're trying to out-gimmick them, right? You're actually trying to give them something that's extremely healthy, not some kind of gimmicky, really quick, get skinny kind of thing. And that'll make you feel good about it. Like, you're actually helping people.
And the one thing too that I will add before we hop off is my conversation has changed from, hey, it's just 10 days, no big deal, you should do it with us, to, hey, we've got this awesome 4 months, it's 10 days every month, and we're gonna be with you this entire way, and you're buying, your product comes 4 months at a time, I would pay in full for shakes. I mean, that's how my conversations are going, and they're like, great, we're in. Absolutely, we're excited. And so now my conversation today, I have some that did not complete the 10 days for various reasons. And I said, listen, there's no shaming here. I'm calling to ask you if you're ready to start the second phase, but I would encourage you to complete 10 days if you want to stay in phase 1. And they're like, Yes. One girl said, I think I should stay in phase 1. I don't think I've graduated yet, Jen. And I'm like, no problem. Absolutely. Stay in phase 1. We're rocking and rolling on Monday. And she's like, great. Then I had other ones that said, absolutely, I'm excited for phase 2. I'm like, great. We're excited too. All right. Any questions? No? We good? Process? All right. Don't hesitate to reach out. Dave, Chantel, you guys have anything else? Oh, I see you're chatting down there.
Yeah, so somebody just asked, this is a really good question, and I have less than a minute. How do you convince people that it's all worth the money? Number one, talk about how much they're going to save on food and eating out, because it more than covers the cost. Number two, compare the pricing of this product with other products. It's way cheaper. And also, you won't have to do it very much. People are very surprised at how affordable it is, actually.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Y'all have a good evening, and I'll post this on our page. All right. Bye.
Thank you. Amazing.